it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. I have a surprise video for you all today. I have the news release from Olive Ave Polish. It has been quite a few years since I've had this brand featured on the channel. If you've been in the nail polish game here on YouTube for a while, you might remember a really fun channel called Olive Ave Nails run by a lovely person named Walker. A few years ago, Walker decided to make some cruelty-free and vegan-friendly nail polishes and started her own brand called Olive Ave Polish. In the nail polish space, we would probably describe Olive Ave Polish as a boutique brand as they are lab-made polishes, but they are also an indie brand completely run by the owner, Walker. So Walker sent me over their new spring release for 2025 called Succulent. The spring collection from Olive Ave Polish this year features 9 polishes. 5 of those shades are going to be re-releases and 4 of the shades are brand new to the brand. The Succulent collection is available right now on the Olive Ave Polish website, which I of course will have linked down below. I do also now have an affiliate code for Olive Ave Polish, so if you want to save 10% off of the website, feel free to use code Nicole Loves Nails. All of the products featured in today's video were sent to me by Olive Ave Polish in gifted PR, meaning this video is not sponsored, but I am now a brand affiliate with the brand, so I do receive a commission when my code or links are used. So as per usual, I'll have all of the links and sale information down in the description box. I'll have the Olive Ave Polish social media pages. I will also link Walker's YouTube channel, and I will of course also have my social media pages in the description box as well as timestamp. And as per usual, I'll save all of my final thoughts and feelings for the end of the video. Let's get into this one. First up, we have Echeveria, which Olive Ave describes as a sage green cream. Echeveria had a fantastic formula. It applied so freaking buttery smooth, and it also self-leveled like a dream. I did notice that as this polish dries down, it dries down slightly, and I mean slightly darker than it initially applies, but this is a very pale sage green. I feel that on my warmer undertones, it looked like it had just like the teeniest droplet of like a brown or a taupe to it, but it is very firmly in that sage green category. I swatch Echeveria in 2 coats. I think most people are going to be good in 2 coats with this shade, but I do think for people who have like exceptionally long nails who do 3 coats of everything, you're probably going to want to do 3 coats of this one. And now we have Terracotta, which Olive Ave describes as a light terracotta cream. Terracotta also had a fantastic formula, buttery smooth application that I always expect from this brand. Coverage was actually really good on that first coat. I think if you have like nubbins, you probably could get away with 1 coat with this shade. If you have a free edge to speak of, I would recommend this one in 2 coats. I agree with Walker that this is definitely in the terracotta family. I feel like it's on the more salmon / lighter end of terracotta. I usually think of terracotta as being a little bit darker in color than this one is, but I definitely think I have seen like a terracotta pot in this color before. Terracotta also dries down slightly, and I mean just slightly darker than it initially applies. The only reason I caught that it dried down darker is because I was actively looking for it to see if it dried down darker. I personally experienced any staining while I was wearing terracotta, but I often find colors like this tend to stain my natural nail, so as always, make sure to wear base coat. And now we have Sunshine. This is one of the returning shades. The brand describes this one as a sunny pastel yellow cream. On that first coat, I found Sunshine to be a little bit uneven, but overall applied really easily and very smoothly. It was slightly on the thicker side, but not at all like thick, just thick enough to note it was a little bit thicker. Even though I trust Walker to release a fantastic formula every single time, I still feel like whenever I am swatching a pastel yellow cream, I always expect it to be trash. I was pleasantly surprised that I thought this was a fantastic formula. It applied so nicely, and I'm also going to call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on personal preference. In 2 coats, I had just like the slightest bit of dark spots on the sides of my nail, which honestly could just be due to my nail being a little bit wonky today. So I did add a 3rd coat for my swatch here, but I feel like I was actually pretty dang good in 2 coats. And I feel like it's been an exceptionally long time since I've been able to say 2 coats for a pastel yellow was really good on me. I spent way too much time just now looking up to see what color the sun is because I don't think of this shade as the color of the sun. I'm only now just realizing that the color I think of as like sunshine yellow is more of like a cartoon yellow sun versus like the actual sun when you look up in the sky and see it. It's a very pale shade of yellow, not so pale that it looks washed out or dingy or white. While I did not personally experience any staining with Sunshine, I also did not have it on for super long either. I generally find across the board that yellow creams tend to be stainers, so definitely wear base coat or even double up if you're prone to staining. This next shade is called Volcanic, and this is another one of the returning shades. The brand describes this one as a walnut brown cream. I absolutely love that this dark color is in this collection. I feel like a dark brown shade like this is very unusual for a spring collection, which is probably why I like it so much. Volcanic also had a fantastic formula, a wee bit uneven on that first coat, but it built up perfectly for me in 2 coats. The color of this one really brings to mind like tree bark in the outdoors. It's a very natural looking color. Well, I mean, most colors I suppose are natural, but you know what I mean. The best way that I can describe this color, it is on the darker end of a dark brown, but not so dark that it's going to look like black. And it has just the slightest of slight droplets of some type of grayish tone to it. And I also just realized you can see my camera reflection really well in this one. This next shade is one of the returning shades and it's called Lantern. Olive describes this one as a deep grade green cream. Lantern is another shade that I would say is kind of atypical for a spring collection. I feel like I would see colors similar to this in fall collections, but I also do feel like if I walk outside right now this second, I would definitely see this color outside. So I'm here for this being in a spring collection. I also found that Lantern had a really nice 2-coat formula. For those of you who have super short nails, I do think you could get away with 1 coat, and for the rest of us, I think after wearing this one a few times, it could potentially be a 1-coater after a few uses. I agree 1000% with the brand's color description. This is a really dark green, and it has just like the teeniest droplet of gray added to it. I did not personally experience any staining with the shade, but I do also just want to mention to make sure to wear base coat with it. Green is on my list of colors that often stain my natural nail, so I just want to mention that in case you are also prone to staining. And now we have Cactus Flower. The brand describes it as a muted purple with a pink shimmer. This is another one of the returning shades. Cactus Flower also had a fantastic formula. The shimmer in here is very soft and delicate looking. I often find for shimmers from this brand, either they give the polish a glow from within look, or they're more on the delicate side, and this one is again on the more delicate side. You can definitely very easily see it. The pink really pops very nicely from this dusty purple shade, but it's not going to be like a super in your face or super color shifty kind of shimmer. My swatches today are going to be showing Cactus Flower in 2 coats. I thought it applied very smoothly and evenly, and I was really happy with 2 coats for coverage on this nail length. When I had originally swatched this shade back in 2021, I am pretty sure that I used 3 coats for full coverage, but my nails were also like 2.5 times the length they currently are. So I'll call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on your nail length, but I do think for the average person, it's going to be a 2 coater. I do also want to note my photos for this one from 2021 make this polish look very periwinkle colored. Cactus Flower is very much in the grayed out purple family and not periwinkle. And now we have Sage, which Olive describes as a soft muted sage green with a silver shimmer. This is another returning shade. Sage also had a really nice formula. This one was a bit more sheer than we've seen from other polishes in the collection. I feel like this leans slightly more in the Crelly department. This is the only polish in the collection that I ended up swatching in 3 coats, and also just to be aware, for the second coat we had a little bit of an issue. You can see it's a little bit darker and the lighting is a little bit off. Basically, Stormy decided to knock over one of my lights, and when I put it back up, I put it in the wrong position. Alrighty, so that's fixed now. Although I will say, while I did do 3 coats for this one, looking at footage, I do think it looked pretty okay in 2. So I'm actually gonna call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on personal preference. This is another fairly delicate shimmer, but I do think it gives the polish a kind of glowing from within look. I think when I originally reviewed this one back in 2021, I think I had called this one a barely there shimmer. I feel like 2025 me, my definition of a barely there shimmer has definitely changed from my 2021 point of view. Because this one is a shimmer polish, it will remove super easily, just like a little bit more messy because of those shimmer particles. And next up we have Agave. The brand describes this one as a pastel blue with a pearl shimmer. Agave is one of the new shades for the collection. Where the shimmer in Sage was a little bit more sparkly, for Agave, this is a very smooth, pearlescent kind of shimmer. So you will have a little bit of brush strokes when this one is wet, but I did find that the brush strokes do disappear pretty nicely as the polish does dry down. While I admittedly am not the biggest fan of pearlescent anything, I did find that the shimmer in here gives us a very glow from within look. I think the shimmer in here is white, so it really lightens up this polish quite a bit. For such a light shade, Agave had a really nice formula. I only needed 2 coats to reach full opacity, and it leveled out perfectly for for me. This one is not my personal vibe. I feel like getting me to like a really pale blue is a little bit dicey, and throwing in like a whitish shimmer is definitely making it like a not for me thing, but it's still a really pretty polish nonetheless. And the final polish in the collection is called Santa Rita, and this one is described as being a warm pastel purple with a gold shimmer. This is a new shade. Santa Rita was definitely on the thicker side.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
But that added thickness did make this one really, really opaque. Not quite a one coater, but it was very, very close to being a one coater on me. While I was doing my swatches, I opted to not add thinner to this one, but I do think that the next time I reach for it, I likely will add just a little bit of thinner to it. Like, it wasn't overly thick, but it was there. Despite this polish being so opaque, I did still find that the golden shimmer does stand out very nicely. It's also fairly smooth, so when wet you will see some brush strokes, but the brush strokes do disappear as the polish dries down. And of course, the removal will be very easy, just slightly more messy than a cream due to the shimmer particles. Alrighty, so final thoughts. I'm sure many of you all are fully aware that I myself am not a huge lover of pastel creams. My main reasoning for not liking pastels is largely because the formulas are always horrendous. I hate them so much. And fun fact actually, all of Ave Polish's pastel creams, the first time that I ever got sent those in PR, I tried them and I was so absolutely in love with them that I actually went and bought all of their pastels from the year before. And I feel like that's very telling to hear me say that I willingly purchase pastel creams. Because again, they're just not really my cup of tea. But as I found in the past with this brand, as well as like for this release as well, the formulas are superb. I know a lot of you all are kind of like me. They're in the mindset of, you know, glitter is better. Did I say that right? Glitter? Glitter. Yeah, glitter. Why does that sound weird? Glitter. Whatever. So yeah, while I fully admit I am not the biggest lover of pastel creams, I absolutely love the formulations of these polishes. And I also was pleasantly surprised by the color story of this release. I feel like there was a good mix of like classic spring shades as well as a couple of shades that like don't feel super springy, but are welcome nonetheless. Spring is probably one of the major seasons where I especially appreciate a non-traditional color story, so I really like the couple of dark shades that we got in this release as well. I am sure based on the voiceover, y'all can probably guess which shade I'm going to use as my favorite polish from this release. It is 1000% going to be Sunshine. The formula was so good. So good. I'm gonna also add Lantern as like my honorable mention from this release. I don't know, I feel like this is one of the shades in this release that's like the least springy but appreciated nonetheless, because I feel like it still fits in the whole like succulent spring green things growing kind of vibe this release has. I'm kind of the mind for all the polishes I've tried from this brand that like Walker does not release bad shades. One of my favorite things about when nail polish watchers start their own brands is that like almost always the formulas are always going to be like top tier, and Walker for sure knows a damn good cream formula. If you are new to the brand, creams are kind of all of Ave Polish's bread and butter. As you can see in this release, they also have some shimmer shades. There are a few like glitters and linear hollows on the website, but for the most part, the brand releases like a lot of creams. As far as sale information goes, all of the polishes in this release are going to be priced at $12, and again, that is for a 14 ml bottle. Editing Nicole popping in, I do want to mention, starting on April 21st, all of Ave Polish is unfortunately going to be raising their prices to $14 a bottle. I feel like I don't need to say what's going on here in the States currently and why everyone is having to raise their prices. I really hate the thought that I might push FOMO on people, so I feel really bad saying, hey, if you want to check this brand out before the prices go up, you got a couple of days to do that, but that's unfortunately the state of things currently. And as always, if you are feeling particularly pushed by the FOMO, I always want to mention it is just nail polish. You do not need nail polish to exist and live and be a happy human being. If you financially can't afford to buy nail polish right now, shop your stash, go into your collection and see what you kind of forgot that you haven't worn in a while, and do that. Please do not put yourself in financial ruin over nail polish. And also, I think I might have forgotten to mention this later in the video, but Olive Ave does also ship internationally from the US. I have no idea what tariffs would look like for folks, so just, you know, check out the website and see what's what. The 4 new shades in this release will have a special bundle for $44, or if you'd like to pick up all 9 shades, there will be a bundle price of $88. And again, you can use code Nicole Loves Nails to save 10% off of the entire website. None of the polishes in this release are considered limited edition. Olive Ave Polish does a really great job at keeping things in stock, as well as listening to customer feedback on when to bring back shades. I would also like to note, for 2025, Olive Ave Polish is planning to donate 1% of all profits to the Postpartum Support International group. I would love to know what everyone else thought of this release. Planning on picking it? Have you already picked it? Have you tried Olive Ave? And again, I know a lot of y'all are like glitter, flaky, and all the things lovers, but you know what? Creams are great too. Before we end today's video, I do want to give a very special shout out to my channel members, Shenanigang, Stormy fans, names of course all on the screen right now. If you would like to sign up for my channel memberships, there is a link for that in the description box. But as always, please do not feel pressured to sign up for channel memberships. Just like the video, comment, share, subscribe, all of the things, and we are good. If you like seeing my face here on the YouTubes, I have a second channel, which is just my name. If you like seeing me and want to see what I do outside of nail polish related things. If you like the vibes of the channel, I also have a Discord server, which I am trying to remember to mention more often. So if you want to come hang out and chit chat with me, come hang out in my Discord. Link is in the description box. So just thank y'all for joining me for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely week, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
The big ass when I get high. I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.